Okay, welcome everyone. So today we're going to be doing a presentation on stress and anxiety. What can we do? And we're very excited to be here. We're here from the Family Resource Center, and we're partnering with Parent University to bring you this presentation. My name is Elizabeth Gallo, and I'm a school psychologist with the Family Resource Center.
Good evening, welcome. My name is Teresa Mora. I'm also a Family Resource Center school counselor. And my partner.
Good evening. My name is Dana Workman. I am also a Family Resource Center counselor. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What we're going to learn today is all very important stuff. We're going to talk about what stress and anxiety look like, some of the similarities and differences between them. We'll give you some examples of stress and some examples of anxiety. We're going to cover a few anxiety myths because there are a lot of them and it's important to deal with them, face them, figure out the facts. We're going to talk about what students and their caregivers can do. For some of you, you're going to be doing things that will help yourselves. For some of you, it'll be things that are going to help your students. For some, it'll be all the above and more. We're going to cover caregivers' roles, when to get more help, and we're going to give you a few additional resources in the process as well. So what do stress and anxiety look like? Let's start with one thing. Has anybody in here ever felt stress? Yeah, I'm guessing a large majority of us are very familiar with it. It is part of our everyday lives. And it seems like our society has gone from an area where being stressed is like the popular thing. If you're super stressed, that means that you're living. That means that you're doing everything you need to be. And it was almost cool to be stressed. But we're going the other way. And it's really important to start focusing on self-care and taking care of our own ability to manage all the things that come our way. So we're going to cover some of the physical symptoms, some of the other symptoms of stress and anxiety. First is stress. Some of the physical symptoms include uneasiness, tension, headaches, increased blood pressure and heart rate, sleep disturbances, etc. We all know these feelings. They're familiar. When we have overdue bills, when we have mornings where we can't get the kids to school on time, where we have just all of the things at work, at home, everywhere. We get those reactions. It's very common. Stress is often a response to something external and temporary. Maybe an argument with a friend or a parent. School pressures. For a lot of our elementary school kids, it's the pressure of timed tests, finals week, and then also home pressures. The biggest difference between stress and anxiety that we're going to focus on is that stress can often be dealt with by facing the issue directly. When you take care of what's stressing you, the stressors go away. And then symptoms, if you can't take care of the stress, they can be managed by some of the techniques that we're going to discuss in a little bit. Anxiety. You're going to notice that many of the physical symptoms are the same, and there's a good reason for that. Uneasiness, tension, headaches, increased blood pressure and heart rate, sleep disruptions. For a lot of people, there can be increased trips to the bathroom, irritability, feeling like your mind has gone completely blank. Not just, oh, I forgot to get milk at the store. I mean, completely blank. A persistent feeling of apprehension or dread in various situations, even without an actual threat. Anxiety is often a person's reaction to stress. It is internal, and it tends to continue even after the stress has passed. It can be a classified disorder, such as generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety, but not necessarily. Anxiety can be a normal experience when it's helpful. We're going to elaborate on this one a little bit. When is anxiety helpful? Does it ever serve a purpose, or is it just out of control? Let's go back a little bit and think about some of our ancestors. Way back in the day, our ancestors faced real big threats. We'll use the woolly mammoth, for example. When they had this ginormous woolly mammoth barreling down on them, they had a physical reaction. Their heart rate increased. Their pupils dilated. Their breathing increased. These were all functions to help them escape that threat. They served a purpose. They helped people be aware of what was going on. We don't have woolly mammoths chasing us down anymore. Thankfully, we don't even have bears in this neighborhood that chase us down. But we still get that same physical response. Only now, that response helps us because it does the same things. It increases our heart rate. It widens our pupils. It gets our blood pumping. And it helps us focus on what we need to do. So in a lot of situations, it is normal. Also, a little side note, we started doing this presentation because we were getting a lot of requests from students. A lot of our kiddos are having anxiety. The school nurses are even talking about the amount of children that they're seeing in their offices that are coming in, I've got anxiety, I can't do this. And it seems like a lot of these children don't realize that it's a normal response. It's uncomfortable, for sure. Nobody's going to deny that. Nobody likes feeling anxious. But it is normal. It serves a purpose when we can focus it. So we're going to look at the stress response versus the anxiety response. Here's an example of stress. So that's a little example about stress. And the thing that makes it a little bit different from anxiety is the fact that Joey faced the issue. When he did it, he realized, it's not that bad. I can go ahead and play. It's all good. And my guess is those symptoms went away really quickly. So we're going to talk about different levels of the stress anxiety barometer. On the perfect level, you're on vacation at the beach, life is good, we're at a 1. No stress, no worries, life is good. Maybe you have a little bit of concern about something that might be coming up and there's a little stress. You're aware of the effects, but it's manageable. I think that's where a lot of us spend a lot of time. That's pretty average. And then a little bit more, you have some stress, likely aware of it, but you're still able to take control over the situation. But it's getting a little bit hotter. You're getting a little more uncomfortable. Then you have the 7 level. There's just way too much going on. You know that one more person that asks something of you is going to be the final straw. And then you have 10. That's total anxiety. That's when you're not functioning. That's when it's a problem. So we're going to think about the first day of school. Can you guys remember, I don't know, maybe middle school, maybe elementary, maybe high school, college, it doesn't matter, but your first day of school. You don't know the campus. You don't know the students. If you're lucky, you have a few friends that are going to be there, but it's common not to. Some of our kids go to school, first day of school, and they know nothing. They have never seen the school before. They have nobody to talk to. Where do you think your level is going to be on the 1 to 10 in a situation like that? Does anybody think they'll be at a 1? No. Anybody think they might be at a 10? Freaked out, you want to stay home, do anything possible not to go? Very common. But you have to go. You deal. School's not as bad as you think it's going to be. You start meeting people, you learn the routine, you figure out where to go, what's expected of you, and then you get to the 100th day of school. On that level, how many of you think you're going to be more than a 1? Maybe a 3? Yeah, you still got some of the stresses, but it's a lot more manageable. You can deal. So we're going to give you an example for anybody in here have kids in elementary school? Perfect. And any of you at home, I'm sure there are plenty of elementary kiddos. Timed math tests. They can be something that are extremely stressful for some children. Not all. Some don't mind at all. Some love the challenge. On the first level, we have that kiddo. No anxiety or nerves about the test. They're fine. They got it. They're used to it. A little bit worse. You have some students that feel a little bit nervous about it. They may express frustration that they're going to be timed. They can usually articulate their feelings, and they can usually channel the nerves to help them do well on the test. Again, that's the purpose of anxiety. It helps us do well. Next level, you have a kiddo that may be having some difficulty sleeping the night before. They might have hiccups, wiggliness, tummy aches, say they can't eat, headaches. Maybe they have that increased heart rate, and they might try to get out of school. And then the top level. We have some students that have so much anxiety about these timed math tests that they feel it days in advance, or maybe even constantly. They might live in constant fear of the next timed test. It's affecting them in a very big way. So we're going to cover some of the anxiety myths. There are a lot of them, but we're only going to talk about 4 today. First one, people with anxiety could just snap out of it if they really wanted to. Unfortunately, it's not how it goes. And dismissing someone's anxiety only exacerbates the problem. Their fears and physical symptoms are very real, even if that fear seems illogical to us. What scares them really scares them. Second one, someone with anxiety should avoid situations that cause stress. Does anybody in here think that they would like to avoid some situations that cause us stress? Sometimes I would too. First of all, it's impossible to avoid situations that cause stress. Like I mentioned before, life is stressful. Second, viewing yourself as fragile only tends to lead to more anxiety. Remember that you can be anxious and still accomplish what has to be done. Many of us do. The third one, always carry a paper bag in case you hyperventilate. In reality, paper bags don't make you feel safe. They tend to make you feel more anxious. And the last one, anxiety is a choice. We should force them to do the things that they are afraid of. You might notice this is a little bit of a contradiction from the slide 2 before. We do want to encourage them to do the things that they're afraid of, but we don't want to push them into it without proper tools. And we're going to talk about those tools also. Instead of helping, it can heighten the anxiety that they already have and make someone less receptive to any kind of help or treatment in the future. And here are some possible causes of anxiety. I'm not going to read through the whole list, but I'll highlight a few of them for you. A lot of our kids deal with bullying at school, and they might be completely afraid to go to school all the time. FOMO with social media, that's fear of missing out. A lot of our middle schoolers are in a state where they can't let go of their phones. They are so anxious about that possibility, they don't know what's going to happen if they're not aware of what's going on. Social situations. Embarrassment over looking silly in front of friends. That's huge for middle schoolers. It's a rough stage. They're hyper aware of themselves, and they're always worried about what others are going to be thinking about them. Recess. That can be a problem for some kids that aren't very socially integrated. They might be worrying about future, especially our high schoolers. A lot's being expected of them now. What are they going to do for college? What are they going to do for work? It could be life shocks like death, worry or loss of loved ones, worry over loss of loved ones. And then it could also be side effects of medication or substance use and a symptom of a medical illness. I'm going to hand it over to Teresa now. Thank you.
So anxiety is a meteor shower of part Chicken Little, part Eeyore, you know. The sky is falling, and it's falling on me only. So this is what we're going to go into now. You've heard all about what is stress, what is anxiety. So what do we do now? How can we help the process, or how can I help my child, help myself? So anxiety and fear, they're related. They're more like cousins, but they're not twins. They have some similarities. Actually, our bodies react the same way to anxiety and to fear. The only difference is that fear sees a threat and anxiety imagines one. So fear is what you are seeing, what you're reacting to your surrounding, but anxiety is in your mind. So now we're going to watch a video to show you the similarities and how it could be the same for both. So like you saw in the video, your body reacts the same way because it doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know the difference between fear and anxiety because our body reacts to both equally. So now we're going to go into what can we do? So how do we self-regulate ourselves? How do we bring ourselves back to the present moment? And actually, we found this quote. My coworker actually shared it with me. I thought it was perfect for what we were talking about. And it says, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present. So all these techniques that we're sharing with you today, is to help you and your child, or your child, most of the time it's both of us, right? Be in the present moment and be self-regulated. So some of the techniques we're going to be going over today, some of the strategies we're going to be providing is breathing strategies, techniques, journaling, escaping, grounding, and positive affirmations. So the first one is breathing. That's actually the easier one. We all have breath in our bodies, right? We all can do it at home, on the job, at school. Controlled breathing can help reset the whole entire body. So the first one is, do you all have a hand? Yeah? You guys all have a hand? So if you can just extend it out. And this technique is called hand breathing. So what it does is you outline the outline of your hand. So when you're on the outside of the hand, you're going to breathe in. And when you get to the top, you're going to hold your breath. And when you get to the inside of your hand, you're going to exhale or let your breath out. So let's all do it together. I feel like all of us need a little bit of help right now, right? So everybody get your hand out. And we're going to start with the outline of our hand. And ready? And breathe in. Hold it to the top. And breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold it and breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. So this strategy, simple. We can carry with us. We have our hands with us at all times, right? Something you can provide with your child, you can explain to your child that when they're at school and they're feeling overwhelmed or they feel that anxiety coming on, they can do that at their desk, under their desk. They could do it at recess. Nobody's going to know what they're doing, if they're a little nervous about people noticing. But this is simple. You can do with you at all times. There's also YouTube is a great resource for guided breathing videos that a lot of our families, a lot of us use at work with our students. And you can log in and they help you through the process of how to breathe correctly and bring your whole entire body back to the present moment and be self-regulated. This is another small video. It's an example of a breathing video. There's no sound to it. It pretty much just shows you how to breathe correctly. So what it does is as the triangle is expanding, you're gonna breathe in, and when it's collapsing, you're gonna breathe out. So example right now, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. So this is a quick example of stuff you can do at home before they go to school, if going to school is a problem or a stressor for them, or before they go to bed if they have a hard time sleeping. You can do this right before they go to bed as well. So now this is another video. This is my disclaimer. This is one of my favorite videos too. But it's how to breathe correctly. It's called belly breathing, and it's by Sesame Street. So enjoy. So technology is a big part of our everyday life too, right? We use it for pretty much anything. So here are some phone applications or phone apps that are free. There's some free resources out there that you can download and use for your at home. Smiling Mind, Super Better, Insight Timer, those are all free apps that will help with self-regulation and bring yourself back into the present moment. Some other paid resources are the Calm app and Headspace. We all use them, and they've been great beneficial for us. So. The next one is journaling. So research shows that writing things down is a powerful way to rewire the mind. So some example is shared journaling between you and your child. Sometimes they have a hard time expressing with words what they're feeling or what's causing for them to, to feel the way they're feeling. So a great way is for them to write it down. And maybe you can reaffirm what they're feeling or validate what they're feeling and write back to them. So shared journal will be a great way to do that. Depending on the age, they can also be, drawings instead of writing if they're not writing level yet. And then gratitude journaling. So writing 5 things down you're grateful for every day, it really helps encourage them to focus more on the positive, on all the good that's happening instead of all the negative that we have going on, right? So let's take a moment right now. There's some Post-its on your table at home. You can write down on a piece of paper just 3 things you are grateful for at the moment today. So this is a great way, like mentioned before, is to rewire our mind, right? To focus on all the bad, you know what, it's there, but there's a lot of good that's happening right now too at the moment. Does anybody want to share? No? Okay. Any of you ladies?
I'm grateful for transportation and the ease, personally. Getting here with, thank you. For transportation and how easy it is to get from place to place. We got here in 4 minutes. It's awesome. It's really cool. Every time I make it somewhere safely, I'm super grateful for that.
I'm grateful for my comfy bed.
I'm grateful for coffee, honestly. It really helps me throughout the whole entire day, so I'm grateful for that. So it's the little things in life that we can help teach our children to focus on the good things, the positive things. There are a lot of people that don't have everything we do, so that will help rewire their mind and focus on the positive. And then escaping. Some of us will wish we can just get away from everything, right? But there's some simple ways to escape from what's going on right now. Sometimes getting away from the source of stress and anxiety is what we need to self-regulate. So one technique is object focus. So what that means is you focus all of your attention to an object in your hand. It can be a rock, it can be a shell, a squishy ball or stress ball, as they're known, also known as Play-Doh, and sensory items. Those are all great tools they can carry with them, or at the moment just bring all their energy to that one object. Go for a walk. Play catch, walk the dog, or play with the cat. Coloring mandalas. So in your packets, we actually provided a copy of a mandala. It's just you can color that. You can make copies of that. And for those at home, there's actually a link in the presentation at the end of the presentation where you can click on, and they will be provided for you as well. So. Coloring is a great way to escape from what you're feeling, to bring yourself back to the present moment. Watch a funny movie, right? Who can be anxious or mad when you're watching funny, right? Comedy. And then dancing. I love to dance. So dancing is a great way to just, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Let's have a dance party at home and focus on that. So now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Lisa.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about grounding and what grounding means. And so it's really bringing your focus on what is happening in the present moment physically, in your body, in your surroundings, and instead of being trapped by the thoughts in your mind that are causing you to feel anxious. So some examples, one is in the handout and in the resource link, which is called 54321. And in that one, you are looking at the things that you see, that you hear, that you smell, that you touch, and that you taste. And you're naming them as you're looking around. Connecting with nature, some examples are with water and with the earth. Often students, they go, what I've noticed is if they like this strategy, they might use the restroom and then put water on their face or simply just run the water and wash their hands. And for some students, that works, okay? Taking a walk in nature, mindful walking, that is another activity where you can actually do the 54321 that is in the resource link and in your handouts, where you can look around and use your senses to see what is happening around you instead of thinking about what is making you feel anxious, okay? And then object focus. Again, this is similar to what we were talking about earlier with escaping, using things such as rocks, shells, squishy balls, Play-Doh, sensory items. So right now we're gonna participate in a grounding activity, and it is actually called 60 seconds. But before we begin that, I want you to think about how you're feeling at this moment, at home too. I want you to rate your level. 1 is you're feeling comfortable and relaxed. 5, 6 is you're feeling a little tight or uncomfortable in your body. And a 10 is that you're feeling very tense in your body. So just make a mental note, or if you want to write it down, where are you right now before we begin, okay? And this is a strategy, that's a sensory strategy that I'm going to take you through. And it's called 60 Seconds, and it's by Dr. Reggie Melrose, a book titled The 60 Seconds Fix. So we're going to uncross our hands and our feet, okay? And we're going to take support of the chair. And if you feel comfortable, you will close your eyes. And if not, you can stare at something in front of you and focus on that. And you're going to put your feet flat on the ground and wiggle your toes, okay? And if you haven't taken support of the chair, go ahead and do that and let the chair do all the work for you. And breathe in and out. And you're going to breathe in a balloon and breathe out a pancake. And now I want you to imagine a safe place in nature. It could be you in the woods or at the beach. And if one in nature doesn't come up for you, it could be you at home. But a safe place that comes up for you in your mind. As you breathe in and out. Taking full support of the chair, breathing in through your nose, and breathing out. And if you haven't come up with a place yet, you can come up with one right now. And I want you to see, feel, and hear this safe place as you breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose. And just think about what is happening in your body at this moment. Have you noticed a settling in your body or a shift in any way? As you breathe in and out. And when you're ready, I invite you to come back into the room, and you can rotate your neck, your ankles, your wrists, and open up your eyes if you've closed them. And just curious if anyone has seen a shift. That took about 60 seconds. And did anyone notice a shift in your body? Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about one more tool, and it's positive affirmations. Has anyone heard of positive affirmations? Okay, great. So positive affirmations are simple sentences that people use to describe how they want to be, okay? How they want their circumstances to be, and it affirms that it's already happening, okay? And that it's on its way to becoming true, okay? And so why do we do that? Because research shows, neuroscientists tell us that the more we stay focused on negative words and thoughts, the more you can actually damage key structures that regulate your memory. It can also affect your feelings and your emotions. It can disrupt sleep, your appetite, and the way your brain regulates happiness, longevity, and health. So positive affirmations have been shown to be effective in interrupting negative ruminations and depressive thoughts. So now we're going to watch a video of a little boy that was like an internet sensation about a year ago. And here he is doing his positive affirmations on his way to school. Here's this little boy on his way to school, and his parents taught him how to do positive affirmations to start off his day. So I wanted to take a minute for all of you to experience what that feels like when you do that. So if you could all, at home as well, stand up, and we are going to get into our Superman or Superwoman stance, which means that your hands are at your hips, and your back is straight and your shoulders are out. And we are going to say these positive affirmations out loud. Okay, and we're going to say them together. Are we ready? Okay. I am safe. I am loved. I am strong. I am confident. I believe in myself. I am enough. I've got this. I can do things that are hard. I get better and better every day. I am in control of the words I say to myself. Today is going to be a great day. Thank you. You can have a seat. So I don't know about you, but that for me really shifts how I'm feeling, and it gets me excited about my day. So it's something that you can do with your students before you leave. I know often the mornings can be very stressful. And so sometimes if you just try to shift it to doing affirmations before you leave, it can make a big difference, okay? And then as the students practice this, they can do it in their heads as well, or when they're getting ready in the morning and they're looking in the mirror, this can be something else they can do. Sometimes at home, actually for myself, I've written out some of these on my mirror with a marker for my kids to read and remember. As they're getting ready, they see them on there. So caregivers roles. So it's important for us as caregivers to model self-care tools. Why? Because we as humans help each other regulate our nervous systems simply by our presence and the way we feel in our bodies. So it's important for us to have our own self-care toolkit for our own well-being and also for modeling self-care for the children that we care for. And so I just want you to right now at home here, just think for a minute, ask yourself, how do I feel in my body right now? Do I feel energized, tired? What is one thing that I should do for myself that I have not? And the third thing is, what act of self-care can I do for my body? So these are regular check-in questions that you can ask yourself. Maybe one thing you can do for your body is have some water. Sometimes we're in a go, go, go mode, and there are basic things that we can do to do self-care. Okay? So if you want to take a moment right now and write down what is one act of self-care that you could do for your body today. Can you think of one? Take a walk. Okay. Anyone else want to share? Go to bed on time. I'm going to turn off my technology at 8. Yes. Okay. And this is something that we've been doing to promote self-care at some of our schools within the employees. But we thought that this would be a great thing to share with you, because you can do this at home. And this is a sample of a self-care calendar. And it's just as a family creating a ritual of self-care. And so, for example, today is Tuesday the 5th. And it says, write a list of 5 things you are grateful for and why. Well, we've done that already today with the 3 things we are grateful for. But that's an example of one of the things that you can do. Okay. Many of us say, okay, thank you for all for these tips, but parents have been asking us, what can I actually do if my child is in the middle of having an anxiety, big emotions, and what exactly can I do at that moment? And so we've shown in the videos that the body doesn't know the difference between fear and anxiety. So I wanted to share with you the 3 things that you can do with your student at that moment, okay? And they're called the 3 R's, and they're by Dr. Bruce Perry. And they are regulate, relate, and reason. And so what they are is, the first one is regulating. And this is using sensory strategies such as the breathing, okay? And the first thing before you engage your child is you want to make sure that you are regulated. So if you need to take a couple deep breaths, because a lot of times when our students, our children are having anxiety, we have judgments about what that means. And then, we have to notice those before we go engage them, because then we might say something that won't actually help, okay? So once we know that we're regulated, then we can support and regulate them, okay? And the way we regulate them, like I said, is using sensory strategies, whether it's being close, whether it's if they need a hug. Every child is different. Some children do not want to be hugged. For some, it's just reminding them to breathe, okay? And breathing with them. And once you've seen that they are regulated, the next thing you would do is relate to them. And these are emotional signals so that you can connect. That looks like your eye contact, your tone in your voice, okay? That's saying to them, I understand that you're scared. I know you have a test today. And so them feeling heard, that you get what they're feeling, that really helps them, okay? Instead of going into a judgment, okay, which can happen, and I know because I've been there before. The next one is to reason. At this time is when their brain is ready to reason. A lot of times as parents, as caregivers, we jump to reasoning without doing the first 2 strategies, and they're not with you. They're not hearing what you're saying. It's as if they're not regulated, it's as if they have phones over their ears. They can't really hear you because they are so in their state of anxiety. So once they have regulated, you can reason with them compassionately, reaffirming the limits, reaffirming why we problem solve and what are some things we can do when we're feeling this way, okay? What can we do as caregivers? We like we said, we can have an open dialogue, communication, and share times when you've faced adversity and overcome it. We can practice acceptance with your children and validate their feelings, as we talked about in the 3 R's. We can read about stories about people who are resilient and who have faced adversity. We can create a vision board that inspires them. And the way you can do that is with a visual with a piece of paper. They can draw an image of what they, can imagine themselves to feel like if in the future. Cut out images of what resiliency looks like. Add affirmations and words of strength. At home, we can develop and cultivate a growth mindset mentality, okay? Reminding them that maybe not at this moment they don't feel that way. Not yet, but they will. And then modeling the self-care, okay? That's very important. And so when to get more help? Some anxiety, as we mentioned earlier, is normal in some situations. It's your body telling you that you need to be alert, you need to be careful, and proceed with caution, okay? But when those feelings do not go away, and when they interfere with your daily activities, it can become a problem, okay? So this is when we need to see a doctor, a pediatrician, or another healthcare professional in order to let them know that nothing is making it better and that it's producing symptoms that are not manageable. And you want to rule out any medical conditions. And so we've also added in the resources many different the strategies we've talked about and where you can find them, more information. As well as by age level, different resources. And then, like we said, all these are handouts for everyone at home are in the resource section. So thank you very much this is the end of our presentation. And if we have any questions at this time, we can take them. Yes.
Video of the Joey guy. What is the web link for that one?
Let's see. Do any of you remember?
It's on YouTube too. If you go to our YouTube channel, it's on the links below the comments. So it's there too. If you got the link for the information session tonight, it's also there.
Okay. But we can look.
So the link, it's right in the comments. I think it was, which video? The one with Sesame Street? The first one?
This one?
Yeah.
This one?
It's under video number 1 in the comment section.
Okay, perfect. And it's titled Managing Worry and Anxiety for Kids. Okay. Any other questions? Well, we want to thank you so much for coming out and taking the time to come to our presentation. And we hope you have a safe evening. Good night. Thank you.